Welcome back to another episode here with Sledgehammer Tie-Dyes. Today I'm going to be doing a design that is my own personal design. I call it the Gravity Fern. It's going to be an ice dye, so we're starting off with a shirt that has been soaked in soda ash, spun out, and flipped inside out. So what you need is your washable marker, and what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and draw a line. So kind of give it a little bit of a wavy line here. And that'll do. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pleat this sucker up along this line. All right, so now that we've got it pleated up, I'm just going to kind of go through and pull it to try to even out this line a little bit more. And that will do. So now what we're going to do is take our sinew and we're going to compress this all down. All right, that'll do. It doesn't have to be like super stupid tight because we still want the dye to flow through it. It's just kind of kind of like when we do like the fan folds, just a place for the dye to kind of stop for just a bit and then run through afterwards. Okay, so the next step is to scrunch up the top half. And then we'll take our sinew and tighten this down. And there we have it. So that is the tie for this shirt. So let's move it over to our setup and get this guy going. So this is the setup that I have. It's basically just a tall Tupperware container, I guess you can say. And I use my gutter here to kind of be able to prop it up at an angle. So it's about like a 45 or something like that. Then I use tape to secure the rack so the rack doesn't slide on me. Then I have the shirt zip tied down to the rack itself so it doesn't move. And then I have the housing for the ice zip tied down so the box doesn't move. So that is where we're at. And let's throw some dye on this guy. Okay, so the colors that I'm going to be using are Blue Violet, Blue Abyss, Brushed Steel, and Silver Lining. So what we're gonna do is throw some dye on there. I'm gonna keep the blues kind of mostly towards the center here, and then I'm gonna put the grays on the outside edges. Oh, and another important thing to note when doing this shirt, you saw how I had the tail of the shirt kind of draped over the edge of our container. That's just so it's not hanging down whenever we're putting the dye on, because the dye will kind of fall through the edges here, and you don't want it to fall through and mist your shirt with dye, because then you'll end up with a bunch of little spotty, splotchy bits. Okay, so let's start off with the blue violet. I'm just going to kind of come in and drop it down in places. Next, I'm going to be moving to the silver lining. Now, this guy doesn't typically hold up very well in ice dyes, but I'm just kind of using it as a base layer, kind of like a primer coat, I guess you could say. So I'm just kind of putting a lot down on the sides here. Oop, crap. That'll be all right. Trying not to get in the way of the camera is a little bit more difficult than I thought. All right, so next up, I'm going to come back in with some Blue Abyss. This is just to add some depth to it. And now for the brush steel. I'm going to come back over with some more of the blue violet. So I'm just wanting to get more bluey purple things in there. And just a touch more of the Blue Abyss right in the middle down there. Here we go. Okay. So, time for some soda ash. And now for some ice. Hit it with a little more soda ash. And we're pretty much good. So there was a little bit that kind of spilt down into the bottom onto the shirt down here. It's okay because it's still kind of in like the really bunched up curve set, and that's gonna really fill out with dye. So that'll be okay. And now we just kind of drape this guy back in and let it sit for a day pretty much. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention on this guy, where the shirt comes through, I did cut out like a little notch so the shirt can fit through and also allow for everything to flow freely through. But all right, I'll come back in 24 hours and see what we got. Okay, so it's been about 24 hours, so let's get this guy out of here and start the rinse out. Okay, so this is what it looks like before it goes into the wash. And again, a lot of this will come out and lighten up a lot. But yep, let's throw it in the wash and see what comes out. And here we have it. Came out pretty good. I liked how the grays kind of came through pretty well. I was kind of worried about the silver lining would just completely wash out, but adding that brushed steel on top definitely helped it out. Also gave us some breaks of like yellow and stuff in here as well. But yeah, this is how I do the Fern things. I did go a little bit looser on the squiggles this time. I think in the past, usually I kind of make it a little bit of a tighter turn like that, and you'll get less of that defined line, which would make, I don't know, it's still good. I liked it. But yeah, so that was a pretty cool color combination. Got some of those purples in there as well. Looks pretty sick. All right, well, if you like this one, please subscribe, leave a like, drop a comment down below of anything that you'd like to see me do in the future. But until then, Sledgehammer Tie-Dyes, out.